All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into Locker Room Sports. Come on in, settle down here, take your shoes off, stay a while on this cold winter evening. Come by and hang out with me here for just about, I don't know, we'll be on about 30, 45 minutes or so. College news and stuff jumping around here for everything that we got going on right now. I guess first of all, we'll talk about Mr. Kinman for Alabama hiring a new offensive line coach. We looked at him, and I did some studying on him, and he had been at Oregon for a little while, and things that Coach Lanning said was something to the effect of what a good young guy he was, and he's a real players coach. Really knows the game well. He's got a good NFL background. And, when he really makes his mind up, he really sets his feet into something that he's really just able to get things done. And that's just coming from Dan Lanning when he was at Oregon for a little while. He also spent some time, at New England Patriots. He coached a stint there, like we said, at Oregon. He was a run game operator. And also, I'd like to add this too. It's possible, I've heard this, that in the new college way that, how the game is now, you have general managers now. College is more like pro now than it probably ever has been. There's a possibility that they might hire a run game coordinator to go along with him. They do have a running back coach. He's been there since Saban hired him in 2020. He's still there. I guess he's going to stay. So there could be a lot of teams now have two offensive line coaches. Like they'll have an assistant, and how they'll break groups up because they got like 15 offensive linemen. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm just saying it may be a possibility. But Adrian Clem, young guy, friends with Courtney, with Mr. Morgan there that does all the ins and outs for Alabama football. He's a player, he's a player. He's a football guy, played all the positions, understands everything. Alabama's setting in here to strengthen their offensive line and to have a fresh start. I mean, good gracious, they've added like everybody nearly is new. Michael Carroll got some plays last year to be a more run game dominant type style and what the fans at Alabama are used to seeing. So his hiring is a single, huge, significant part to focus on developing these young linemen and to improving their communication and just the coherence of the trenches and how plays are to be blocked. It just seemed like, from watching it from front to back, that – and I mean front to back as in saying from game one to the last game, there was no improvement, man. There just was not any improvement at all. Do I see the purchase Deion Sanders is doing for his? Yes, I wanted to talk about that. Good topic. We'll hit that one. What's up, Jeff? Yeah, we're gonna hit that topic. Talking about Coach Sanders. I guess next up we'll break into Duke quarterback Mensa. Duke settles the dispute with quarterback as he eyes to move on over to Miami. He has agreed for the settlement of their dispute that they will clear up the way with the quarterback to transfer to another school. His agency announced today. Mensa was expected to transfer to Miami. Now that his dispute with Duke has been resolved, as we heard from other news outlets, Duke's officially Mensa in Durham County Supreme Court on January the 20th when he attempted to prevent him from transferring and enforced a multi-year NIL contract that he signed with the school. Pretty much just saying that, through close collaboration and the principal negotiations, we have successfully navigated an unprecedented path, one that has now reached a fair and multiple agreeable resolution. So basically, he's going to get what he wants, and Miami's going to have to pay the difference. Mensa was number 5 overall player in ESPN's transfer portal his ranking. He'll join college football's playoff runner-up Hurricanes after pacing the ACC with 4,000 yards, passing, 34 touchdowns this season. I think he only threw 3 or 4 picks this season, leading the Blue Devils to their first outright ACC championship since '62. So Duke now is in a big mess. Their attorneys wrote in their lawsuit that Mensa violated the terms of his NIL agreement by disclosing its monetary terms, seeking to license his NIL in football into other collegiate institutions, seeking his enrollment in other institutions, initiating contact with admissions or athletic staffs and other institutional people, failing to notify Duke if he is contacted by other institution or his representatives, or acting upon in the way that now has harmed his image and the image of Duke University by ignoring the terms and conditions of its contract. Sheesh, man. I mean, come on, bro. What are we doing? This is absolutely silly. I don't I mean, if now we're going to be at an area where there's no, obviously we can see that there's no written word being held, for any type of fortitude of just being a man and just doing the right thing. I mean, I know he's going to get paid, either no matter where he goes, if he's really that good, he's staying in the same conference and moving from one school to the other. You're leaving the ACC championship team to go play for the runner-up national championship team. I get it, bro. I understand that you want to build your name, image, and your likeness to create revenue for yourself. But at what cost? But honestly, in the way things are now, what's going to happen, he'll go on over to Miami and people's going to talk about this probably for another week or two. And there'll be some other story come out. Something else will be popular. Something else will be hot on the take. But Mensa to leave Duke and just to go somewhere else just because, I don't know. I don't want to be the old man standing on the porch, yelling at the clouds. But I don't know. There's just nothing we can really do about it as fans. So I'm just kind of appalled. I don't know. I mean, what else can you say? It's not fair to Duke, and it's not fair to his players that he leaves behind. And it just shows again that there's just no institutional fortitude built inside a lot of these young players. And you can't say something like, well, they're all just doing it for money, because it's not all. It's not all players. It's just it's some. Because there's about 4,000 players, I think is what I heard yesterday, left in the portal that did not even find them a place to go. So, congrats to him on finding, a place to go and deserting his team of where you I don't know, man. There's just no anchor down anymore. There's no rhyme or reason. Upfront money, you're going to get paid either way. You're going to get paid in the end time of it when it all works out to go to the draft. And I mean, he threw for 4,000 yards and only threw a couple of picks, so he obviously must be pretty good. I only watched him play that one game against Virginia. I thought he played a good game. He didn't, he didn't blow my socks off or nothing, but I don't know. We're just kind of where we're at with this, the way football is right now. So let's see. What they don't understand is that NIL is governed by, it was, Jeff. At one time, you're right. It was governed by contract law, and it's not anymore. He just walked out on it because they're going to hold the contract and hold him binded to it. But Miami's going to pay it out. So there you are. Miami's going to pay the contract out. They'll pay the other $4 million owed to Duke. So Duke's like, well, the other part to it is, now what's Duke do? I mean, what are they, where do they get a quarterback now that they've invested in this guy. He's already been there a year. You don't think he's leaving. And all of a sudden, a week ago, he decides he wants to up and leave. And what are they going to do? I mean, if you kind of knew before when the portal opened, you could be looking for a quarterback. So Duke's just kind of, I guess you can crap in one hand and what in the other, and just see which one fills up first, I guess. Guys, appreciate y'all coming by and hanging out with me. All our usual people. We got a lot of people coming in and out on the page here to start. Appreciate y'all. Hit the thumbs up while you're over there. I really would appreciate it. It takes 1 second just to do that. Just 1 second. It's Big Talk Tuesday. That's what we like to call it. And it's just kind of our theme, I guess, of the day. And let's see which one looks good. Let's put this. We use that one. We'll do that one today. We'll leave the blue on there. Y'all like the blue? All right, podcast listeners, everybody, thank y'all also for coming by and hanging out. Spotify, Apple Cast, and iHeartRadio. Added some new people over there, so always very appreciative for that. Other news today, we heard some news about this other day. Coach Sanders at Colorado now showing up at all. If you don't show up just to a meeting or whatever, $2,500 fine. For Colorado's football team, there's a stiff price to pay for being late to practice, $500. You want to be treated like pros, you're going to get paid like pros, and you're going to pay fines like pros. Coach Deion Sanders cracking down on the violation of his team rules, which much more heftier fines for his players. Fresh off a 3-9 season, Sanders unveiled his own structure on the first meeting that they had back on Friday that he sees back in the background of the video. You could see on this in Well Off Media. That's a company that runs from his oldest son. These fines are not connected to name, image, or likeness licensing agreements. They're not related to on-field performances. They are strictly for violation of team rules. So fines such as $2,000 being a no-show to a meeting or film session, $400 for being late, $1,500 for not showing up to a workout, $1,000 for being late to a treatment, $1,500 for no show at all, $2,500 for violation of team rules, and up to $5,000 for public or social media misconducts. Sanders says, we're not the only ones in the cafeteria, so you need to be respectful. In addition to Sanders stressed in the importance of being respectful to the ladies that work hard there to feed them food, to not go in and just be rude. And that's not what he's going to put up with. It's just disrespectful. Sanders said in the video, that would be like your lady that you have currently wearing her ex-boyfriend stuff. So how do you feel about that? She's sitting up here with her shirt on that she had from her ex-boyfriend's name on it. That's how I feel about that when I see you come into the cafeteria. You eat our food with your last team on, obviously. And if you wanted to stay there, then you should have stayed. Everybody's trying to get to Coach Prime, says that these people are trying to get to him, and not all of them have good intentions. Quarterback Juju Lewis is implementing his high-tempo, run-oriented, go-go system for a quarterback, and they're looking forward to getting him on the field. One great year can change our lives. Everybody in this room, it's not my offense, it's our offense. So fines and stuff being increased. So what do y'all think about it? Is this something that you like about college football? Now that they're adding these things to, what you want to talk about there, to come in late and $1,000, no show, $1,500. I mean, you want to be pro players and get, the big checks like pro players and get these advertisement deals, and it's not any money that's going to be fined away from them for their NIL money. It's just going to be something that comes right out of their own money that they're going to have to keep up with. Hoosiers fans, it says today, Jeff, Big Ten champs, they celebrate from the bottom of our hearts. They thank all the Hoosier Nation. Heisman Trophy winner Mendoza said Just for a 35-minute ceremony ended with players and coaches and fans singing the school's fight song, greatest university in the country. First of all, I can't put into words what Indiana, the fans, my coach, my teammates have meant to me, et cetera, et cetera. I think they had trying to see if there was a video of that. It's like they had some tough weather up there today in Indiana, Jeff. Yes, some pro football talk. Well, I can't get into work. Let's see. There it is. Yeah, pro football. I put it up there on the screen. Jeff had brought that up, that the Bills have promoted Mr. Brady, their offensive coordinator, to head coach. I read a lot of comments today online that a lot of Bills Mafia fans they wasn't fired up about Mr. Joe Brady. Y'all get it back, Jeff. Y'all get it going next year. Yeah, kudos to Coach Prime for cracking down, making these young men be held accountable. Yeah, I don't know. Why? I wonder why the fans are not. I guess some fans are just not happy with Joe Brady's offense at the Bills. I mean, he's been there. He's who Josh Allen has had for a long time, as far as his play caller and helping him with on the field stuff. So I'm kind of lost on that. Let's see here. Yes. Yeah, we ain't gonna be in long. There ain't a ton of stuff going on today. It's official. The Patriots and Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. New England beat the Broncos 10-7. That was a really good game. And everybody's same question: why didn't you just kick the field goal and go up 10-0? I'm surely to goodness, they had people knowing the weather that was coming. You knew that there was a snowstorm coming after halftime. It's going to be a mess out there. So I don't know, man. I don't know why you just don't kick it and get the points there. You try to get a little greedy there, and I guess you could say it cost them the game. Now, Coach Payton, we watched him coach at New Orleans for a long time, won Super Bowl, over Drew Breezy out there, and was a great coach, great play caller. Seattle and L.A., the Rams game was a very good game. 31-27 was the final end. Offensive battle leaves the Seahawks berth in the Super Bowl. So that'll be the Seahawks and the Patriots be 6:30. It'll kick off here in just a little over a week, February the 8th, and on NBC. The Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show featured Bad Bunny. Jeff, are you excited about the halftime show with Bad Bunny? You're probably just going to stay up just to see the halftime show. I'm sure, right? With just a little bit of time left, we're taking an early look at some of the matchups here. I would say that does the Patriots secondary? This is they're pretty good, man. So how do they going to stand up against the Seahawks receivers from Njigba and New England? QB May. Will he become the fifth quarterback to win the Super Bowl in their second NFL season? So key matchups and that type stuff. Seahawks. I would say what's probably the biggest question? Probably the biggest question is something like, Darnold he has had a lot of improvement through the year. This first half of the regular season, then he digressed and substantially as the Seahawks defense got even better. Remarkably, he finished the season with QBR of 56. So then he had last season, Minnesota had with a 57, although he had a higher completion rank and was sacked fewer times, he also had more interceptions and fewer touchdowns. Yeah. So just he was sacked more. I mean, so of course your completion percentage and stuff is going to go down. So did the Patriots have the easiest path that we ever seen to go to the Super Bowl? Based upon these DVOA ratings, the Patriots had the third easiest regular season schedule since 1978. 47 years ago. I was born in 77. Their average opponent had minus 13.3% DVOA. In other words, their average opponent was about as good as Washington or Miami. Also have to consider the opponents these teams faced in the playoffs. The Patriots started out with the Chargers, who ranked 17th, and Houston was 4th, and Denver was 7th. However, 91 Bills and 99 Rams had easier playoff roads because they started out against nobody. First round buys are a lot easier facing an average team such as the Chargers. So, judging one overreaction, Darnold will get a huge contract extension this season. Yes, that's probably an overreaction. First of all, the Seahawks don't need to give Darnold an extension. He signed through 27 anyway. Darnold made $37.5 million this season, his first year of a 3-year deal of $100 million. He signed with the Seahawks back in March. So the matchup between the quarterbacks, that's where it's at. Sam Darnold, Drake May, if anyone has had this Super Bowl quarterback matchup in their bingo card, then I know I'd like to see it too, because if you had them picked in the early fantasy Super Bowl picks, probably nobody did. But, it's a very improbable matchup. It just is. But certainly they did earn their path here. By the numbers, May has had a rough postseason, and his 2 worst games of the season, EPA per dropback and success rate, were the 2 most recent wins against the Broncos and Texans to win over the Chargers in the wild card round. Was also below average performance in both his metrics. So I guess to kind of sum it all up, this is the first Super Bowl in over 50 years between 2 teams that entered the season with at least 60-1 odds to win the Super Bowl. Underdogs are 5-0 against the spread and 4-1 outright in the past 5 Super Bowls, including 3 straight outright wins. So from Mike Variable minus 400 and Mike McDonald plus 450, the 2 favorites to win the Coach of the Year closing odds at DraftKings, et cetera, et cetera. No one has won the Coach of the Year, the Super Bowl, in the same season since Belichick did it in 2003. So that's kind of that. Pairings and odds for the game. There's some different places got different outcomes. Spread opened at Seahawks minus 3.5. And it's kind of moved to Seattle favored by 4.5 now. And so that's probably the main thing. Seattle's going to be favored to win this. They're going to be favored to win the game, and I would just kind of lean that way. I mean, just the matter of fact, so we just kind of jotted down there and talked about that the Patriots did have a little bit easier path there, and just kind of being able to stand your ground and run the ball, which the Seahawks have done very well since they got rid of Grubb. I don't know. Is there any connections with that? Well, Alabama can't run the ball since Grubbs got here, and Seattle has went nuts in the run game since he left. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know. I don't know. Yep, if Seattle wins, they'll get some revenge for the Patriots win. Arch Manning news had a minor foot surgery today, Ben says, and he's expected to return to spring practice according to Texas. Eek. Bill Belichick won't be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. Belichick needed 40 out of 50 votes for an induction, but reportedly fell short. So what does that mean? Jeff, I'm Yeah, bad, but I know you're probably going to tune in. Probably just, I mean, you may not even watch the game. You may just like old Bad Bunny, I guess. Yeah, don't look him up. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. It's not good music to me. Um, Good music to me, like the best halftime shows ever. Well, for sure, is Michael Jackson that I can remember best halftime shows. Bruno Mars does a great halftime show. Um, I kind of like I mean, some of you older people, man, my generation, like Ben, I guess, yeah, our age group. I'm thinking Ben's close to my age. I like we're talking about halftime shows for the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny, we're not very in favor of that. I kind of like the one that 50 Cent and Eminem and Snoop and all them did. I thought that was a good halftime show. What do y'all think? Hit the thumbs up over there if you loved that Michael Jackson halftime show. He's just going to put on a good show. I mean, if you're old enough to know, then you just know everything he did. He would. I heard that he had budgets for halftime shows and some big arena shows that he would do. He would lose money sometimes if he had to spend extra to make a great show because he always wanted to satisfy his audience. That's what I heard. To be the first to win a Super Bowl as a player coach. Yeah, that's true. I wonder why he didn't get in. I wonder what the deal is with that. Old Super Bowl results. Let's see here. We can go back a couple of years from. We'll go by year. The year I was born, 1977. Oakland beat Minnesota 32-14. And I guess the coach, well, who was the coach there? The MVP was Fred Biletnikoff. Wow, I am old. Oof. Jeff, see, you was probably born in, well, he was born before the first Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl, we all know Green Bay won it. Green Bay won the first two Super Bowls. Then you had old Joe Willie, the Jets, in '69. There's some Super Bowls that I remember as a kid. Probably my first remembered Super Bowl. Maybe let's see, was that Cincinnati? Probably first Super Bowls y'all remember. Give us a year. Just one that you can think. Like I really remember watching that game. I'm trying to think here. Probably the 49ers beating the Dolphins in '85. And for sure remember Bears winning 46-10. Richard Dent was the MVP. And the Giants, because I remember the Broncos went 2 years in a row and they lost both years there. And then in '89, the 49ers played the Bengals, and that was the year that Ickey Woods was tailback at Cincinnati, and they were on a big tear. And that's a great game. If you can go back and watch a Super Bowl, just talking about Super Bowls that y'all remember, put in your favorite year. Type in 1989 Super Bowl, 20-16, the 49ers and the Bengals. It was a great game. And see, probably like the Giants and the Bills, because the Bills went 91, 92, 93, 94. Man, they just cannot. I feel so bad for them. I wanted them to beat the Redskins, and my granddad was a Cowboys fan. They won at 93, 94. So I was probably pulling for them because I was 15 or 16 by those times. So I was, watching it and keeping up with it. The 49ers blowing out people, the Cowboys, the Packers. Then the Colts the Broncos finally get one. They beat Green Bay 31-24, Terrell Davis MVP. That was a good game, 1998. And then they win back-to-back the next year. They beat the Falcons in 99. That game just really got away from them. And then the Ravens come in and kind of, run everything for a little while. And then Tom Brady shows up, and that's kind of that. New England beat St. Louis 04. New England beat Carolina. 05, New England beat the Eagles. And the Giants won in 08. They beat New England 17-14. That was a really good game. Eli Manning, that was his first Super Bowl. Then he won it again in 12, beat New England again. It was just kind of New England and the Giants, a little bit of Steelers and Packers mixed in there. Of course, the Saints beat the Colts in 2010. And then New England beats Atlanta 34-28 and 17. Atlanta should have won the darn thing, man. Completely blew it. Then the Eagles just smoked New England 41-34 and 18. That was a really good game. We saw Kansas City then. They got on their rip. 2020, they beat the 49ers. And the Rams beat the Bengals 22. And then Kansas City took another one back-to-back, 23-4, beat the Eagles and the 49ers. And Philadelphia's back again, 40-22 to knock off the Chiefs. And they are definitely on a spin, out of control. Any other news and happenings in the world here? Talked about Alabama getting their new offensive line coach, Adrian Clem. It's been hired by Coach DeBoer to replace Chris Kopalovic, bringing extensive experience from the NFL, from the Patriots and the Steelers, and from UCLA and Oregon to develop Alabama's trenches. Noted for his success with Oregon in 2022, their offensive line, they won a lot of awards and stuff that year. Being around the Patriots and that type program and being one of the best offensive lines and led the nation in fewest sacks in 22 for Oregon and being ranked 12th in offensive rushing, those, are the kind of things you're looking for. He's not a real old guy. He's a young guy. I did hear something, though, that he had some health problems or something. Did y'all hear that? Yeah, I heard that too. I guess that's that. Unless we got anything else, I won't take up a bunch of time. Just go through some news here and talk about stuff. College basketball, if anybody's interested. Let's see here. I know Bama plays tonight. And let's see who else has got some games today before we get off here. Y'all got anything else? Let's see here. Yeah, Bama plays here in about 30 minutes. They got Missouri. And I think it's no SEC teams just really knocking at the doors of anybody. I think Arkansas is barely ranked 15. So, man, that's a mess. Alabama Auburn will lock up on the day before the Super Bowl, February the 7th. And let's see here. That's just not a good year for the SEC in college basketball. Auburn coming off a 3-game win streak over South Carolina, Ole Miss, and at Florida. They will be home to play Texas tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Wednesday night at 6 on ESPN2. I think that should be a game they could win. Then they'll be at Tennessee. That'll be a tough game for them on the 31st. Then they've got Bama February 7th, and then about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got Bama to get in there in the middle of February. This is Auburn's schedule. They'll come back through on the starting February 10th. They got Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU. Then finish with Bama March the 7th at 7:30 on ESPN. And then things will really get kicked off. That's when I really start. I like to start watching about that time of year. 13-7 right now. Auburn is 5th in the SEC. Looking to try to keep some momentum going there for the Tigers. Bama is 9th in the SEC. They're 13-6. That's kind of what we got there. UConn is number 1, and of course they are. We knew that. Yeah, I do remember that, Jeff, for sure. Big Bears fan. Loved watching Walter Payton play. Holy crap, Jim McMahon, the quarterback with the headband on his neck. I mean, holy crap. I mean, if you're a kid of the 80s like I was, That's what you wanted to see. Watch Bo Jackson play for the Raiders, and good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Let's see. Yep. All right. Yep. Y'all make sure you hit the thumbs up before you head out the door here. Just a little bit of chitter chatter for the news for Big Talk Tuesday. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. All it does is just let you know when I go live on YouTube there. If you're watching from over there, that's all it does. You'll get hit the little bell and it'll notify you, hey, Locker Room Sports is going live. We'll try to come back on Thursday night, Lord willing, and see whatever the news we got going on. Maybe look at some last bit of portal. There's not really much more going on. Top 25 AP poll final. Yeah, I put that on there. We could take a look at it. Finishing out the regular season: Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, Ohio State 5, Georgia, Texas Tech, A&M, Bama, Notre Dame. That finishes you 10. Then rest is BYU, Texas, Oklahoma, Utah, Vanderbilt at 15. At 10 and 3, Virginia, Iowa, Tulane, James Madison, USC at 20 with 9 and 4 record. Michigan, Houston, Navy 11 and 2, North Texas 12 and 2, and TCU at 9 and 4. Finishing out. So what does that mean? If you're not ranked probably in the top 15 or so, it's going to be tough to try to get in to any of the playoffs. It just really is. Over here on Coach's Poll, they pretty much match everybody. They got Ole Miss 3, Oregon 4. I think everybody kind of matches up mostly. They have Ohio State and Georgia mixed 5 and 6, which is fine. Some teams like Houston a little bit higher, the Coach's Poll does. They also have Illinois in there, the Coach's Poll does. In the final Coach's Poll, AP poll did not include Illinois. Illinois finished with a good season. They were 9 and 4. I mean, it's a good season. Alabama went 11 and 4. The 4 lost teams here: Iowa, USC, Michigan, Georgia Tech. And FCS's was Montana State, Illinois State, Montana, Villanova, North Dakota State. Some of those teams, Division II winners, Ferris State was number 1. And Division II AFSC is Wisconsin River Falls. I don't know any of those teams. And that's kind of that. Yeah, I did see today. Did y'all see where Pavia, they're getting ready to do the NFL draft and all that stuff. So Pavia's going to go down and play in this, senior game or whatever. And they had him listed 5'9". They had him put it 6 foot tall at Vanderbilt, and he's not that tall. How crazy is that? They had him at 5'9". That's weird. All right, everybody. Y'all keep it breezy. Be blessed. Stay warm, man. It's gonna be cold again most of the rest of the week, and just buckle up and hang on for the next week or two here, people in Alabama. Probably after Valentine's Day, we'll start getting into some 50s in the day and 30s at night, something like that. So y'all come back and hang out Thursday, 6 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. And enjoyed everybody. Thank everybody for coming by.